The Atlanta Braves get beat 12-7 in a game they were losing 12-2, but they gave up 21 hits. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That is Jake Mastroianni over in the second chair today, host of Locked On Braves. Follow him on social media at Shortstop Ball. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Braves, wherever you get your podcast. Jake's had a ton of content this week, just everything from potential rookie of the years next, to just everything you can think of. Jake is talking about these Atlanta Braves every single day. And we're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves tonight, Jake, and it's probably not going to be a fun one. 12-7 loss by the Braves to the Mets in game one of the series. A couple thoughts I have on this one. I think the very first one is Braves still won the season series. Doesn't matter what you do, Newark, so take that. 21 hits for the New York Mets. And the wildest thing to me is Juan Soto goes 3 for 4. Okay. Francisco Lindor goes 3 for 5. The bottom 4 in their order combined for 12 hits, 6 runs, 6 RBI, 1 walk, and 0 strikeouts. It kind of feels like just a complete pitching failure, top to bottom, in every single respect, right?
Yeah, it feels bad. It feels really bad. I was one of the wild things to me. I don't know that I've ever seen this many hard hit baseballs in a game. Do you know how many hard hit balls there were tonight, Lindsay?
I have not looked, so I'm going to guess and say, you mean just by the Mets, right?
No, both teams.
Both
combined.
teams. Okay, I'm going to say 30.
37
Holy
hard hit
cow,
balls tonight.
Really?
37 balls hit 95 miles per hour or harder. A lot of them by the Mets. And I listen to a lot of this on the radio because, like many of you, I don't get Apple TV. And I was just listening to them talk on the radio, and Joe kept saying, it's not like the Mets are getting cheapies tonight. They are destroying the baseball.
These,
and the data kind of backs that up. 37 hard hit balls. I've never seen that many balls hit that hard in a single game. That's absolutely wild. And yeah, like I said, a lot of that against the Braves pitching, a lot of that against Joey Wentz and Eric Fetty. Look, we all kind of bought into the Joey Wentz hype a little bit, just kind of being hopeful. And I'm not saying he's a bad pitcher. I mean, it's one start here, but I don't know that anybody ever expected him to be even a number 3 starter, but a solid, back of the rotation type of arm. And back of the rotation arms are going to have starts like this every now and then. The Mets offense is also hot. We kind of ignited them last time we faced them, specifically Lindor. He's been red hot ever since that Braves series. That continued once he, left New York in that series, and it's continued here. So I mean, you got to take all that into perspective, but not a great night. And look, these are not guys that you are really hoping are part of your rotation. I mean, again, like we said with Joey Wentz, we thought maybe you got something there, can be a depth piece for you, but nobody's really, I don't think, clamoring for Joey Wentz to be in your opening rotation next year if everybody's healthy. So just a bad night for the pitching, and there's going to be probably more nights like this, unfortunately, the rest of the way. Maybe not 37 hard hit balls, or 21 hits, but there's going to be some rough showings for this pitching staff the rest of the season.
Yeah. Joey Wentz 3 to 3rd, 9 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. It really kind of felt, as somebody who actually was watching on Apple TV, I don't have Apple TV. They don't pay that much for this job. My mother has an Apple device and gave me her login. Okay. Nice. It felt like he just couldn't reliably kind of find the zone. And so whenever he could find something that he could throw for a strike, he just had to throw pitches, in essence, down the middle, right? He could find the zone, but only middle is what it felt like. To your point, every single Mets starter has a hard hit ball. 3 of them have 4 hard hit balls. It's just absolutely nuts. Flip side for the Braves, 6 of the Braves starters have a hard hit ball. The only ones that don't, Nick Allen, shocker. Nacho Alvarez, I'm not surprised. Matt Olson. I'm incredibly surprised. 0 for 5 for Matt Olson, 3 strikeouts. Rough night there. But I guess finish it up on the pitching. Eric Fetty, 4 1/3, 11 hits, 6 runs, 93 pitches. Like, he comes out of the pen and throws 93 pitches. It almost, to me, feels like if Chris Sale's final start for rehab is tomorrow, right? If he is done after this, he lines up to come back to the Braves rotation around the time when Eric Fetty would be sliding into a rotation spot. Do you really think Eric Fetty survives to next week? Do you think Eric Fetty survives to tomorrow?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the fact that we've seen this play out before, and whoever that long man is, they usually are gone the next day. Whether you do good like Dylan Dodd has in the past, or whether you do bad like Eric Fetty, they need those arms in the bullpen. And, see Sam Rogers saying Quantrill and Elder the next 2 nights. Oh boy. Yeah, you might need some more long men out of the bullpen to give you some innings. So I would not be surprised if this was Eric Fetty's last performance for the Atlanta Braves. Now he could come back. Carlos Carrasco's back in the system, and we may have not seen the last of Carlos Carrasco making starts for the Atlanta Braves. But, here's the thing, Lindsay, somebody has to start these games. Somebody has to pitch these games. So we'll see how it goes. But again, I've said it with Eric Fetty the last couple of times we've seen him. They want to DFA him tomorrow. I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. But, again, somebody does have to throw these innings. And unfortunately, the Braves options just aren't great at the moment.
Yeah. There is a question in the chat about DFA Eddie and bring up J.R. Ritchie to make a start. I do think that's a little bit unlikely. And I've written about this a little bit over on bravestoday.com. And I know you've addressed it a little bit as well. Never minding the if he's ready or not kind of aspect. You do have to look at the Braves have a lot of potential Rule 5 eligibles they have to protect, and they have to make 40-man spots for all of these 60-day IL pitchers. They have 6 different guys on the 60-day IL that all are going to have to get a 40-man spot at the end of the season. And then they've got prospects that they have to protect. J.R. Ritchie isn't Rule 5 eligible until December of 2026. So if you choose to add him, they might, but if you choose to add him this season, you are, in essence, giving up somebody else that you could carry over to the next season, right? And
I think if the Braves were in it, he might be one of your better options. He might be your 4th or 5th best starter if they were in it. I'd love to see him just to for him to get his feet wet, because I think there's a good chance we see him at some point next year. But you make a good point about the roster constraints there and them needing to hold on to some of these guys just for depth, just to, one, survive the season and just to keep their options open for next year. So I'm with you. And Richie's, already probably nearing his innings limit for the season, his first full year after Tommy John. So I'm at the point now too, where I don't think we're going to get to see J.R. Ritchie at the big league level this year.
Yeah. And just clarifying, I'd love to see him. I think it'd be fantastic. He's at 111 2/3 innings. Whereas last year he threw 49 2/3 coming back from surgery. So he's more than doubled his workload from last year. He's probably kind of wrapping up. They don't want to push him any farther than that. Okay. In just a minute, let's talk about the offense. A couple bad things for some guys, but some things to like. We'll get to that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime-flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite with a non-alcoholic boost. It's perfect for sinking birdies, making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Because golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. Everyone knows just as important as putting the ball in the hole 18 times is the flavors in your mouth while you do it. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the beverage cart. And now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament that's not the Masters in the United States. So tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. Most people can't name their financial accounts or what they're worth, whether it's 401k, property, investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Because Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you because it does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. As my good friend Jake Mastroianni always says, don't let financial opportunity slip through your crack. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB.
Welcome back. Touche, my friend. I try to step in your absence, and this is the love that I get. Thanks for that.
Had to get you before vacation. All right. So again, Braves lose this one 12-7 to the New York Mets. And you look at the offense, okay, 10 hits. Atlanta really, they do most of their production in the last 2 innings. But a couple guys do stand out. Jurickson Profar, another day, he goes 3 for 4. He drives in 4. He scores a run. Ronald Acuna Jr. gets a home run. It feels like he's been a little bit quiet recently, but 2 for 4, 2 RBI there. Nacho Alvarez continues his kind of recent surge at the bottom of the lineup there. It feels like the offensive player of the game is probably Jurickson Profar, simply because I think if nothing else, he's kind of built that trust where you trust Jurickson Profar is going to give you a good bat just about every single time he's at the plate. And that's not necessarily something that almost anybody else is giving you at this point in time. You have Michael Harris, cold today, has been hot, but Profar's been one of the better hitters on this team in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's been kind of overshadowed, I think, a little bit. One, because of the suspension, a lot of people have just kind of written him off. But two, Michael Harris being, unreal in the second half. But Profar's he's been amazing at the top of the order. He's been even better. You look at his numbers; he's basically being even better than he was last year. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to see what happens with Profar because I think before this, hot stretch that he's been on right now, it could have been a possible place where you look to upgrade in the offseason. And but now he looks like one of your better and most consistent hitters. So it's definitely making the contract look better at this point, and the Braves not look as foolish with pie on their face after, guy that gets popped with PEDs immediately after you sign him. Also, as a Braves fan, makes you wonder, had he not gotten popped and been here all year, what that could have done for the offense early on. I don't know if he himself would have been enough to overcome a lot of their deficiencies, but he's been as good, if not better than what. And the one thing I hear about Profar is look at his exit velocity numbers. Well, 3 hard hit balls tonight. He just, he's certainly shown enough power. His ISO is higher than it was last year. He's been really, really good. It's good. You mentioned Acuna. You're right. Since coming back from this most previous injury, it feels like he hasn't had those big moments. And I know it's a blowout game, but see him have one of those swings and just majestic home runs feels good. Had another hit in the game later as well. So that's good to see for Ronald. Just, as a fan, I want to see him play and I want to see him do well. So that's also great. And then Nacho, 2 hits tonight. I know he didn't have any hard hit balls, but he has, really turned it on here lately. Now with the news of Riley being out for the rest of the year, we're going to get a longer look at Nacho, who again has been stepping it up as of late. The one real thing that he's been missing in this somewhat hot streak that he's had is the extra base hit. So to see that tonight as well with 2 doubles. So yeah, I would love to see them obviously do more early on. They let, Nolan McLean really kind of just run through them early in the game. They were able to scratch a couple across on him. But you even look at the relievers they brought in. I know Reed Garrett's really been struggling lately. They're trying to get him on track, but he's a guy that, has been one of their big bullpen pieces in the past. And then Ryan Helsley's a guy that they traded for who's been great, but the Braves have just absolutely owned him this year for whatever reason. So definitely some good stuff from this offense tonight. And what was, essentially, I know it's a closer game, but it was essentially a blowout.
Yeah. And on your note of listening on the radio, Joe Simpson made a great point that I feel like I harp on a lot in some of my writing over on BravesToday.com is you seeing these guys, seeing Helsley, seeing Garrett, when you have closer games in games 2 and 3 of this series, odds are you're going to see each one of those guys again. And not only did you get them into this game, you had success off of them. And so I do think that helps. On your Nacho note, I just got the post-game email from Braves Comms with some of the stuff here. Nacho's hitting streak is now 6 games. In that hitting streak, he's batting .435, 3 RBI, 6 runs, 3 extra base hits. And this is his second multi-hit performance in the last week. He had one August 16th against Cleveland. So second multi-hit performance of the streak here. But on the note of the...
Before we move on, sorry, Lindsay, I cut you off there. One thing I wanted to note on Nacho too is that when he got called back up, remember Riley got hurt. He was down with Gwinnett for about a week and then got called right back up. And when he went down to Gwinnett, he was terrible that week. No walks and 9 strikeouts. That was not Nacho. Yeah. So it's not like he was coming up, swinging a good bat. He had been up, struggling at the big league level, went down to Gwinnett, was struggling there, came back up, was struggling once again. But now it looks like he's getting a little bit more comfortable. So again, I don't know what the future is for Nacho. I don't know if he's an everyday player or he's just a bench utility guy, but we're going to get a good look at him. And again, he's looking more comfortable and look like maybe a guy that could be an everyday player.
Yeah, when they sent him down, he was playing second base. Like they moved him over to second for that week before he came back up. So he's trying to learn a new position kind of on the fly there. On the note of the Mets, I teased this on the social media post real quick. The Braves have won the season series here. This is now 8 consecutive seasons that the Braves have won the season series against the Mets. And dating back to 2022, the Braves are 30-14 with a +70 run differential against the Mets. It does not matter how good the New York Mets season is going. For some reason, they just cannot defeat the Atlanta Braves. And I'm going to go on a limb right now. I know there's a couple of Mets fans. I've seen them in the chat already. The New York Mets are not going to make the postseason. You heard it here. The New York Mets are not going to make the postseason. And I think Atlanta has a chance to take the rest of this series. But either way, I think this is going to be, they've been on a slide for a while. And I'm calling the shot right now. We'll see if the Braves can even up the series tomorrow. Clay Holmes versus Cal Quantrill. We have not seen Cal Quantrill in a Braves uniform, so we'll figure out what this feels like. And then Sunday, David Peterson versus Bryce Elder. They bumped Strider to Monday against the Marlins when they added Quantrill to the roster. Quick programming note, we do not have a postcast tomorrow. Jake is on vacation for his anniversary. Happy anniversary, Jake. My son's birthday is tomorrow, so we have a party tomorrow night, the same time as the game. So no postcast on Saturday. But I am back on Sunday to talk about Atlanta winning the series against the New York Mets, although they lose game 1, 12-7. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Words of affirmation are always great there. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so that you know when we drop the postcast. Jake drops new episodes. Locked On Sports Atlanta is talking about the Falcons and all of that stuff that they do. And don't forget, whatever you do, do not let your financial opportunities slip through your crack. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.